So you wish upon a review to be given to you, and you think maybe the movie's really bad, or you think the movie's great, and you want to hear me say, well, it's not that bad. And then I get demonetized. I just thought that up on the fly. So, Wish, this movie literally is straight down the middle with the critics. It is a 50% of Rotten Tomatoes. I've heard some people call it I've heard some people call it. Whoops. I have heard some people say it is very, very good. I've heard some people say it is pretty much everything that's kind of wrong with Disney at this point in time. In a thumbs up, thumbs down world, I am a thumbs up guy. This is a charming movie. It's an enjoyable movie. And I think being pretty much it's not the only animated film in town. We have Trolls 3 currently out, but it's definitely the better of the two. I think this will be a good family film to go to take your kids to this Thanksgiving weekend. Excuse me, back up. That said, I do recognize a lot of the flaws in this film. Let me talk about what I like about this film first. It is visually a very lovely looking film. It's going for a unique style that I haven't released. The closest I can think of, weirdly enough, is that film The Bad Guys that came out last year. It's got a style similar to that where it does almost look like at points that is coming straight off the pages of a book. And I really appreciate the style. It's also when we got colors, it's bright and beautiful. Half this movie does take place at night, so there's not a lot of pop at that point, but it looks nice. The characters. Most of these characters are also likable, charming in some way, shape, or form. Asha, who is the main girl we have here, is a likable lead. We definitely sympathize to her cause. She's got her quirks. She's got a likable personality. Chris Pine's Magnifico, King Magnifico. I will get to the issues I have with the character, but suffice it to say, nothing is wrong with the performance of the character. He's got a lot of energy to him. He actually gets 2 songs. Chris Pine's actually got a good voice, all things considered. He's a very capable villain in some respects. I do overall like him. And then there's all the side characters. You get Valentino the Goat, voiced by Alden Tudyk, who is a show stealer. Then all of her friends who have some quirky personalities. I will admit, I think the one called Gabbo was the short one, voiced by Harvey Guillén. There were points I wanted to tell his ass to shut up, because he really needed to shut up. He's the cynical, almost conspiracy nut out of here. He doesn't trust anyone. So when Star comes and he meets the Star, he does not trust it. And I'm like, dude, shut up. Just shut up. Which, by the way, as much of a show stealer as Valentino the Goat is, honestly, the toy seller is the Star. The Star is freaking adorable. I loved every moment with the Star. He really is, or it really is, really cute and adorable. The songs in the film are perfectly fine. The standout one is that, let me get the list of the songs here. I got the IMDb up here. I don't think it has the list of the songs in here, does it? Oh, wait a minute. Soundtrack. Okay, wait. Yes, it does. Cool. Because I have IMDb up here. Let's see. So there's a list of the songs. Okay. This Wish. So the standout songs for me, there's how many songs are there? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Well, of course, I think 8 is only during the credits. So there's 7 songs within the movie, plus a reprise of the Wish song. So technically 8. So this, I think, let me sum up again. It's very charming. There's some laughs. There's a lot of heart to it. All that. So this is a good segue into the stuff that I'm not as fond of with the movie, because like I said, there are issues with the movie. And let me lean in with the music. There is no song in this movie that is specifically bad. There's no bad song in this movie. There's no bad song in this movie. Wrong inflection. But when you really break it down, there's only a couple standout songs. The Welcome to Rosas, I'll save the issue I have with it. It's a nice song, but I'll say the issue I actually have with that in a little bit. But At All Costs, which is a song that, I'll be honest, that song was weird. When Asha's singing, it's working. When Chris Pine is singing, his structure, his cadence isn't working in that song. But the standalone is the I Wish, which I think is probably the best song in the movie. I've heard that song enough through the trailer that it does kind of stick in my memory a little bit. So I wish upon the stars of beside me. I will say this: I'm a Star was weird. Like, not what the song is about. How that song actually plays in the movie is weird. Then there's the second best song, hands down, is the other song Chris Pine gets. This is the Thanks I Get. I really liked that song. That was a lot of fun. Then knowing what I know now, it's a perfectly good song. I don't really have much else to say about it. It's kind of like a Gather the Troops song. Then the Wish Reprisal is good. A Wish Worth Making isn't bad. The problem is this isn't like Frozen or Encanto, which is kind of the movie this is trying to be. And I'll lean into more of that in just a second. But not all the songs are bangers. In fact, like I said, only really 2 of these even stick in my memory, and that's This Is the Thanks I Get and This Wish. Those are the real ones that stick in my head. I can remember how I felt for the other songs, but not really the lyrics or the words. And the Welcome to Rosas one I remember liking, but I can't really remember even the beat to it, which now leads me into another problem with the film. And this film is trying to be Encanto. And I say, I wouldn't normally think that. I might think that first one. But once you have the first song in Encanto is Welcome to the Family Madrigal. The Family Madrigal, da-da-da-da, magic. Like, I can still remember a lot of that song. I can remember almost all the songs in Encanto. And that's where initially that was coming from. And then I realized, so there's no reason for them to name the place this is in. They say it takes place on an island in the Mediterranean. Okay, cool, great. And you can even see a little bit of that culture in there, like with the skin tones. They're more olive-skinned than anything else there. But it's people from all over come to live there. So there's a whole bunch of mixed races in there. But the problem is, I feel like this is just an excuse to say, hey, we went to the Mediterranean. We got culture in the Mediterranean. When you actually watch the movie, there's nothing about the movie that has to do with the Mediterranean. You don't even really have to deal with get the culture or anything like that in there. They're just saying it's the Mediterranean. You could have just said we found an island in the sea, or we found this island that we settled on. There you go. Because otherwise, there's just no point in saying it's the Mediterranean when you're trying to clearly. Where you're trying to clearly have, I guess, a identity. See, the reason I compare it to Encanto is Encanto opened up very similar, where you got the Family Magical song introducing you to the town, the family. But Encanto is engrossed in its culture. Everything about that movie is Colombian. You feel the culture. They have the cultural references, things that you would notice very heavily in the culture. The clothing, everything like that. It is all very heavily ingrained with the culture that they're representing. Versus Wish, where it's they say they're in the Mediterranean, but other than that, there's no point of it being in the Mediterranean. Which, this is the side note to that. I'm watching this like, I can buy there being some animals on this island that might not be in the Mediterranean, but there are no bears in the Mediterranean. Why is there a bear on this island? Rabbits, I can understand. Rabbits, maybe they had feed animals, or they kept some rabbits and supplied to eat on boats when they brought them over, and then they repopulated. I can even buy deer. But a bear in the Mediterranean? Bullshit. So yeah, but beyond that, this movie feels rushed. It's only like an hour and a half long. What was it? I think like an hour and 36 minutes is what I remember the reading what the time length was. Come on. Hour and 35. Oh, I was a minute off. Hour and 35 minutes. It feels rushed, honestly. It feels like there's a good 10 to 15 minutes worth of story and background that we need to fill this out. Because we get to the king going. This is my other problem with the movie, is that the king, Magnifico, could have been a really cool character. And at points he is. He can do all his great magic stuff. He's voiced very well by Chris Pine. You definitely see that inflection, his cadence, all that. But they have this backstory that he fled something tragic in his life, in his history with his people, and he learned magic to prevent it from happening again. We never learn what that is. And then the minute that the magic is the wishes are threatened and all that, he's like, okay, I need to do this and go forbidden magic. And his wife stops him. He's like, don't do it. Okay. And maybe like 10 minutes later, evil song, I'm going evil. There's just the setting is there for why he's like the building of the character is there for how his power could have gone to his head a little bit and how he just felt threatened. But at the same time, you're like, well, to be honest, what he and they did, and by the way, what I'm about to say is not a spoiler. It's been revealed in both the trailers and like a clip that came out. So the way by the way, it kind of goes to show a government built on wishes probably shouldn't work. So basically, he has so much magic that he takes a wish from individuals, keeps them safe, and every once in a while he grants one. But he only grants the ones he deems aren't going to hurt the kingdom. So when Asha basically asks to have her wish granted, he basically just says, okay, I can't do this because what if he does this? What if he does this? And I'm like, oh, okay. It's a dick thing he's doing. It's not inherently evil, though. That's the thing. Like, it's coming from a good place, but it's not inherently evil. So when we suddenly go from him being this guy who's he was a bit of a dick and doing some dickish things, but for good reasons, to I'm evil, Asha, give me the star. Like, it just comes way too quick. There's just not enough time to build with this character and get there. I get what they're trying to do with him. And you can see that the groundwork for what they're trying to do with him is there, but it's like they must have cut out 5 minutes worth of stuff with this character building to this. At least give us the history or something like that. I don't, and when he goes full villain, it's not bad, but it's not great either. It's like, okay, he's serving the purpose he needs to serve, but he is just kind of going kind of weird. It's like when a 5th grader is suddenly put in charge of his entire class by the teacher for okay, watch your classmates. You're in charge of this group. I'm in charge. Like that. That's what it is. This film clearly is dealing with some too much tropism, I think, because you got to hit the right beat, you got to hit the happily ever after, you got to get the villain, got to have your big let it go song, you got your character. I did hear someone say though, and it's not a bad point, that while the character of Asha is relatable and is a good character overall, she is kind of cut and dry the last bunch of characters we've had with Moana, with Elsa or Anna, where they're not as well written as they could be. They're relatable and they're quirky and all that. Oh, Maribel, but they're not necessarily always well written. They're just kind of, okay, we've got this stock character. She's quirky. She can make mistakes, but she's going to rise above it and she's going to learn a big moral lesson. That is this again. Now, it's not done badly. I don't think it's done badly with her character. But I am saying, if someone's complaining that there's some repetition and lazy writing on that point, I can't actually argue that point a lot. Now I will argue against Mirabel. I think Mirabel is very her own thing from Encanto. I think they handle her story very well without her seeming like a rinse, repeat, cut and dry character. Just because what she's dealing with is very different than, say, like what Moana deals with, or what what Asha's dealing with. But I mean, look, now at this point, now it sounds like I'm bitching, but I do want to get the stuff I do think doesn't work, or I had some issue with, out of the way, because it's important to acknowledge the stuff you like as well as the stuff you don't like, so you can be as fair as possible when you're judging something. And for me, honestly, though, I think the stuff I like definitely outweighs the stuff I don't like. I will probably see this one more time with a friend of mine who does definitely want to see it. So when me and her go to see it, I'll be able to give it my second viewpoint and see if I liked it as much the second time, more or less. But as it stands, in a thumbs up, thumbs down world, I guess the thumbs up, absolutely. But look, this is just my opinion. This has been out since Wednesday. So what do you think? Have you seen this yet? What did you think? Did you like it or hate it? Or have you not seen it yet? And do you think you will go see it? Let me know in the comments below. But until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And I will see you folks next time. Have a good one.